Shabbat Shalom, everyone. The idea of voluntary obligation. It's actually the engine that drives Jewish community and observance, especially outside of the ultra-Orthodox world. For those who at least question the extent to which God directly demands specific human actions, there's at least some voluntary, willful component to any sense of being obligated to mitzvot, to ritual, to Jewish communal life and observance. And according to at least one of the most traditional of rabbinic authorities over the last few hundred years, this idea of voluntary obligation is not some newfangled or liberal idea. In fact, it is elemental to Jews' relationship with God and to Torah. The authority, rabbinic authority I'm referring to, was Rabbi Elijah ben Shlomo Zalman of Vilna, who is affectionately known as the Vilna Gaon, the great sage of Vilna, who lived in the 18th century. And his comment comes in response to the moment in the beginning of Parshat Vayeshev when Yosef's brothers challenge Yosef on the veracity and the plausibility of his prophetic dreams. They taunt him with the following words: Ha-maloch timloch aleinu, im mashol timshol banu, which means, will you truly reign over us, Yosef? Will you truly rule over us? And the Vilna Gaon notes the redundancy of the word reign and the word rule. And he distinguishes between the root malach, to reign, and the root mashal, which means to rule. The latter, mashal, he says, denotes ruling by force or by coercion. The former, malach, denotes something more democratic, where those who are reigned over have in some way voluntarily chosen to be the subject of the authority, and have in some way chosen the one who is to reign. Now, I note the irony that in modern Hebrew the associations are actually reverse. A melech is a king who rules supreme, whereas a memshalah, from the root mashal, is generally thought of as a government that is elected. But the Gaon's proof text for his comment is from the verse in Psalms, where we say, Ki ladonai hamlucha, which the Gaon understands to mean that towards us, God has melucha, an authority that is vested in the idea that we have proactively and willingly accepted God as ruler. We throw around the idea of accepting ol malchut, the yoke of God's authority, a bit too thoughtlessly. At its core, the idea suggests that absent our voluntary will, there is no authority. It's our acceptance that emplaces God, as melech, as one who reigns, as one to whom to be obligated. It's a wonderful idea, and it's a preposterous idea that our human choice creates reality for the divine. Each Jew is invested with the authority, as it were, to determine whether God has authority. And so each Jewish choice impacts the extent to which God's divinity will have meaning and relevance. In our free and modern world, we revel in our volition. Let's also revel in the weightiness towards which we can apply that volition, towards chosen obligation, to a spouse, to a community, to all of humanity, and to God. Shabbat Shalom.